Ranger Squad, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, it's going to be a momentous occasion for me and you, Squad, because this is going to be my first time doing a tier listing on Another Eden's character designs, but with a very special guest. Now, this special guest is also another Eden content creator on the platform. He mostly does a lot of teaser analysis videos, gameplay videos, and everything you could see within the Another Eden community. Although he is a small content creator, he does give out the best content for you guys. So, I would like to introduce to you our very special guest. Let me welcome in David, aka Another Eden Adventures!
Hey, thanks for having me on your show, Melody. I'm so happy to be here right now. So happy to share and talk about and gossip about our favorite Another Eden units.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to this.
I'm so happy. Thank you for this opportunity to really, since you've been commenting on my videos for the past two videos, I believe, that you were saying like, "Hey,
Oh my gosh.
we should do a collab," and I would like, sure, because this is our first time collaborating, and this is not the first collaboration that we've done in the Another Eden community, and the first collaboration was done by Will Mack and Scott, aka our community manager for Another Eden. So yeah.
I remember bugging you a few times, like, hey, do you want to do a collab?
Yeah,
Hey,
you
do you want to do
were.
a collab?
Yeah,
I've been
you were.
following you for years, so I really want to thank you. I'm really happy to be here because I've been a fan of yours. I've been following you for years, and you've helped me out a lot. Once you gave me a tip on how to beat Suzette True Manifest, and using a weapon, I think it's a Miyaki sword. You're like, yeah, yo, get the Miyaki sword. I think that's what it's called, and
Mm-hmm.
I did it, and I won. I unlocked True Manifest Suzette, and she's just the best. So I have you to thank for that. So very happy to be here, and thank you for finally responding to my spam messages.
Of course. You are certainly welcome, David. So, if you guys want to go check out Another Eden Adventures over on his channel, there will be a link down below in the description or on screen right now. So, you can go ahead, show him some love and support by subscribing, get him to lots of subscribers. We are getting there. We are small content creators that just love Another Eden for the very longest time. I've been playing for 2 years, and I know you, David, have been playing Another Eden longer than me.
But you're much better. So
Yeah. So, so as I mentioned earlier in the beginning, we are doing a tier listing video, and this tier list is going to be based off of our favorite characters, and it's going to be a best character design tier list. So, in total, we have around 33 characters, and most of these characters are either 5-star normal styles or 5-star another styles. Now, there are two 4 stars, I believe, in this list, and I added them in. So, this is going to be a very exciting experience because we get to share our thoughts, our opinions, and what do we think about these character designs. So, if you guys are into these kinds of videos and would like to see more, let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to leave a like if you can, and consider subscribing to become part of the Ranger Squad, along with clicking the bell to get notified for all future uploads on the channel. So, are we ready to go, David?
yes, we sure are. I can't wait. Let's do
Yes.
this.
All right. So, our first character right here is Aldo. Now, this is your character. You put Aldo on your top 10 list. So, describe Aldo
Y-
of his character
Well,
design.
anyway, we can bring him up. Like, can we load up a photo of him?
Yeah,
Because I
sure.
would totally just love to see him right now.
I would definitely set up a photo right now. Oops. That's a different that's a different screen. So this is Aldo's full design right here. This is Aldo.
Mm. And Aldo is, I know, like it's a mainstream opinion, right? That he's the number one character. Every year they do a yearly vote on who's your favorite character. I
Mhm.
immediately go to Aldo simply for the fact that he has cool pants. I mean, look
Just
at
for
those
the
pants. They've got like space for the crotch. I don't know why the crotch isn't guarded,
I
but
don't
just
know
his legs are
why.
guarded. But
I mean, it's
yeah, I know, right?
I know it's just like I don't know, it's for aesthetic purposes or something. It's just part of the design. I don't know why the creators of WFS wanted to have his cross showing and not fully covered in armor.
It's just like it's probably just to show his strength,
Yeah.
right? And he is obviously the hero of the game, and he's everyone's best friend. He's like the love interest of most of the female units, and he's just a cool guy, like a good guy. And his design is awesome. I love his sword, and I love
Mhm.
how they're improving him over time.
Yeah, I do like the design too. And you are certainly correct with like he is the protagonist and all, but like the fact that he is also in some sort of a harem and the fact that he's super dense about the girl's feelings, it's just like, excuse me, hello. You are really, really something there, Aldo. So,
Yes, Aldo experienced. I experienced none of what Aldo has experienced in my life ever.
yeah,
So,
true. Yeah,
well done, Aldo.
so I think he is. I for me, he is an A tier for me because his design is very cool. He's very slick. He has a warrior knightly vibe. And I think a I don't want to put him at an S tier because there are so many other characters that we have on this list. So I would say he would be an A tier. What do you think? What do you think, David?
Oh, so is are we doing this where we put our own tiers, or do we just set one tier?
We just have to set one tier because I only have one PNG of every character.
Okay, well, I will let you decide, but I would personally put him in S plus because he is my favorite. He's my hero. But
Okay,
yes, let's put him
so
in A.
Okay, so we're gonna put Aldo at A tier. So that's gonna be a joint. This is our joint opinion, so we can either pick for one opinion over the other. And if we can't really combine our opinions together, we'll just put them somewhere in between. Since you said S plus tier and I said A tier, we should put him at an S tier. So because
There
it
we
makes
go.
sense. There we go. So the next character we have here is Amy, and now this is also part of your top 10 list. Amy is obviously our girl's Tifa Lockhart in the game.
Yes. Um. Okay, so everyone's probably thinking that these are just very boring choices, but they are like the Cloud and the Tifa of the game. Like they're the hero and the heroine, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a few chapters, you see them splitting up and leading the groups, and she's a complete knockoff of Tifa. I get it, but always want to think, oh, maybe they have a chance together, but obviously they won't do that. In terms
Yeah.
of design, Tifa knockoff, but her unit, the story gives me points, and her whole backstory, her dad and her friends in the band and whatever, they give her bonus points. And the only difference between her and Tifa, I guess, is her red jacket. That makes her a bit cooler.
Mm-hmm. I do agree with you there. Now, I would say Amy is definitely our game's Tifa Lockhart, but as you said, she is kind of a bit of a knockoff, but I do like her design overall. She does give off a lot of Tifa vibes, but hey, she does stand on her own 2 feet. She doesn't need an actual hero to save her, but at times when she needs saving, Aldo will be there for Amy, just like Cloud did for Tifa in Final Fantasy VII.
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
Cloud is
So
also in a bit of a harem, isn't he? Like he's
yeah,
yeah.
like I've noticed that most of the characters in Final Fantasy VII are like basically girls, and there's only like two guys in there. That was Barrett and Cloud. Most of their
Yep.
yeah. So I would say Amy. I would put her in A tier because you did mention that her story is very nice. It's very like connecting with her. She's very family oriented, with especially to her mother and all, and like she definitely has a really cool design overall.
And she's a good friend. And I would say, yeah, I'd say A as well because of the fact that she's too similar to Tifa in terms. If we're thinking purely about design, too similar to Tifa. So I'm happy with A.
Same here. So the next one, our third character, is normal style Suzette, aka Will Max waifu, and maybe pretty much everyone else's waifu.
And she is definitely my waifu. I'm married in real life, so she's my fantasy waifu. And if anyone follows my channel, I am. It's no secret that she is one of my favorite units. I still use it to this day. I'm a huge fan of the extra style as well. A huge fan of a alta version, and I have them all. The only thing I don't have is the butterfly princess style of hers. And in terms of this normal style Suzette's design, uh, loving the gothic Lolita look, loving the fact that the small details they have with the left eye. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think it's the left eye, right,
Mm-hmm.
where it has those secret powers, and love the detail of the little bow she has on her head and the little rose because her favorite cafe is Le Vion Rose. So the little nuances they put in her, and the way they integrated it into a story for anyone who's watched Mythos or followed her story. I have a huge guide on her, by the way. It's just full of small details that I love. The only thing that I would complain about uh, is her is her weapon. I don't think
Oh,
that's even her true. Is that her true manifest weapon? I think it looks different.
I think
It,
that is her true manifest. That is her manifest weapon in that splash art that we're seeing right now. And I would
mm,
like to say that she is very she is displaying her weapon really well in this splash art right here. And considering in her 4-star splash art, she's just like holding a normal lance. But in her 5-star rank, she is holding her manifest weapon. And it's very much visible to the people who are playing with Suzette in the game. And she does have that Lolita style outfit esque, and I do really like that kind of aesthetic as well. So that's all I have to say for her.
yes, it is very cool, and you're right about a weapon. Actually, it'd been cool if they have a story behind it because it does look like a living being. It has
Mm-hmm.
teeth, has an eye, but overall, big fan of Suzette. So
Mm-hmm.
2 thumbs up for me.
Okay, so I think Suzette is going to be, for me, an S tier because she is really powerful in the game, and with her Lolita S style it definitely fits well with her like personality of being like, since most Lolita goths are like into sweets and are very much like so mysterious but also a bit of humor on the side as well. That's what I usually see in goth Lolita girls in like anime and cartoon shows, so I would put her at an S tier. What do you think?
I would put her. I would say I'm a huge fan of her, but her design. Yeah, S. Let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
it. Let's lock it in.
Yeah,
S.
S tier. So we have 2 units on S tier and 1 in A tier. But we have more coming up, guys. We have more. Next up, we have another style, Lily, or as I would like to call her, Thalil, as my first pronunciation. How did you first pronounce her name when she came out, David?
Oh, when she first came out, I was like, I had no idea. I had to Google it several times and repeat it again and again in front of a mirror to get it right. So I think it's still a little, yeah.
Yeah, it's the lily. But
Still a little.
it does sound a little bit hard to like pronounce it properly. I know other people have like their own pronunciations of her name, but Thilily is probably the most canon name pronunciation, if you would say.
Mm.
So here I'm going to bring up her picture right now. So here we have AS Thilily.
Is her left hand exploding right now?
Oh no,
Is it
that's
just combusting?
No, it's not. It's not her left hand. I think it's the part. It's part of the sword where the powers are coming out. And since
Mm.
she is considered to be, the reincarnation, the sword wielding savior, I do think it's part of her powers that she would have this kind of aura surrounding the blades and her hand. So it's technically not exploding if you would have seen it. She's holding them in her hands and they're not exploding properly.
That is good. I'm glad her hand isn't exploding and she's still safe and alive.
Yeah. So I would say for this design of AS the Lily, she is very much mature in this sense. She does, since her 5-star class in her AS form is called Abyss Liberator, while her NS form is called Abyssal Devotee. And since she is called the Abyssal Liberator, I think she is really more mature in this look and very more elegant, if you would say. And she does have that sense of, yeah, I'm mature and I want to beat your butts, even though people call me a fraud for not being the reincarnation of the sword wielding savior, and so on and so forth. Because it's a self proclaimed title that she made up for herself, and she is an art cleric of the church after all. If you guys have followed Song of Swords and Wings of Lost Paradise.
I was really hoping she would be the sword wielding savior. I thought she's like the ancient version of Suzette, right? She's a comic relief, but she's also low key super powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping she actually was, but yeah, I'm glad Moki's in that design. By the
Yeah,
way, it looks like he's
Moke.
about to get slaughtered.
I love Moke.
Mo-
Moke is the best. Moke is my favorite.
yes,
Moke is best boy. Or is it, yeah, best pet. Best
I
companion.
would. I would love to have a real life Moki.
Me too! I would love to have a Moke. And Noah too. And maybe Pip. Oh, that would be so cute.
Not a big fan of Pip. Pip's kind of a douche, but not his fault, right? Not his fault. If
True.
anyone's played the arc, but
True.
yeah,
Okay.
Moke for sure. Minchi, but yeah, Moke definitely.
Minchi is an okay for me. I mean, he does. Minchi is always around Milsha, so, where do we want to put AS the Lily? I would say she would be an S tier because I would put her at an S plus tier, but like her design is like very mature and she is very powerful. But I don't think that power creep will get to her like soon after that,
Hmm.
because there are so many other characters in the game that are having that power creep ability or like that element to their characters so that they could be more powerful in the game. But I would say AS the Lily is an S tier with character design and powers at the same time. What do you think?
So ASD Lily was actually my vote because I love her as a unit. She's I use her. She and Suzette are two of my one of my two like they're some of my favorite units. But her design is very similar to her normal NS design.
Hmm.
So if we were to rate it purely in design and the exploding left hand thing, I would say she's an A.
Okay, so you said A. So yeah, I did say S, and we can definitely put her in A tier. So that would be even for both of us. Next up, we have AS Foreign right here. AS Foreign's full design. Now, when I first saw her design like this, I thought she was really, really cool and super duper pretty. And she does have that style of like a swimmer. And considering that her 5-star class is called Hastaniqua, she does have that surfer vibes to her outfit, and of course she is super duper powerful, especially with AoE attacks and healing and a single attack crit, and she does have that really really cool vibe to it. So that's my opinion for AS Foreign.
I think she was. I was really surprised to see AS Foreign be revealed in the game, and it was so welcomed because I wasn't a big fan of normal style Foreign, but when she came out, I was like, damn! And her design, you're right, is awesome. Like it completely re-energizes her character. It
Mm-hmm.
gives her more life, more maturity, gives her more waifu qualities,
Mm-hmm.
and I love the water dripping from her. What would you call that weapon? Is that a
It's a lance.
yes, tip of, but I think there's another term for it. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah, her
okay.
lance.
A
Yeah, I think
spear?
this is
Is it
lance.
a sphere? A spear, I think.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's like a stick with a huge blade at the end.
Oh, wait,
Anyway,
I remember the name. It's a Naginata, I think.
possibly you could be right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I love the flowing fabric from her dress, and yeah, the little blue creature.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
It's like a
Um,
little octopus.
yep. Really great, and I love the huge level up that came with her upgrade. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, big thumbs up for me.
She is really, really useful in like Pierce zone, and especially if you need healing, she could definitely help out. And she does AoE attacks as well. It's really, really powerful, especially if you're using a water zone or a Pierce zone. She is very, very much a great unit. But for for character designs, I do think she is an A tier for me, because not only does she gives up a surfer vibe, it's just that there are some styles that you could give her, like if I'm looking at it a second time, her design is a little bit revealing, if you might say, especially with the short shorts. And like she is definitely mature, but like a little too revealing if you would think that, because of the short shorts and all. But overall
Mm.
design, it's very much a beauty to see. She's like a water goddess, but with a spear in her hands.
Yes. Yep.
Hmm.
Okay. I'll agree with that. Let's give her an A.
All right. A tier for AS Foreign. Next up is the one and only AS Ewan.
AS Aldo.
Or AS Aldo, as we like to call him. Now, AS Ewan, or E1, I completely could not say his name properly because of my Filipino accent.
Is it A1 or is it like Ewan McGregor?
Even I don't know how to pronounce his name,
Mm.
but like with Ewan, E1, Ewan, I would say I'm showing my inner Filipino there. Anyways, back to the
um,
character design. His character design is very flowy, very beautiful, if you might say. He definitely has some dad vibes to him, if you know what I'm
Dad
talking.
vibes.
I mean, he's not. I mean, he does look old, but then his age is like what? He does his physicality of his appearance definitely screams old, but like if you think about
But
it,
not a dad bod though.
yeah, yeah, not a dad bod, but he does give off some dad vibes, like a cool dad vibes,
Mm.
if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of his design?
Um, I I think it's a huge improvement from his normal style, like where he was just walking around with sunglasses. He looked a bit like a hippie, which was cool. It made him unique. But Ewan has always he looked like a bit of a hippie rock star. This one they kind of took him a little bit more seriously, and
Mm-hmm.
I love his personality. Anyone who's played a side quest, he's a bit of a badass, and anyone who uses him as a unit, I still do. He's what's his skill that's just really strong, like it's like exploding. I forgot the
Mm-hmm.
name of it, but it just kills, it knocks out enemies, it damages them for huge amounts of damage. So I love that part of him, and I love the fact that he's a badass. He's kind of, in terms of design, he's so similar to Aldo though, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, I remember when they were teasing him, they thought he was AS Aldo. The red and then the leggings with the crotch revealed is very Aldo like. I
Yeah.
love his personality, but design wise, I love the fact that it made him look badass, made him look a bit like a rock star, but it is too similar to Aldo for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, the similarities with this and Aldo is that the only difference is that the hair. The hair is the difference.
Mm.
If you
And
can,
the scar on the face, is that
yeah,
a scar?
I don't.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like when
eyebrow.
you like. It's like a brow facial detail. It's like when you scrunch your eyebrows, it becomes that way. Like you make it look scrunchier or something like that. I mean, to be fair, he is very powerful. Unfortunately, I don't have AS. I want to experience what you've
Oh,
experienced,
really?
David. Yeah,
It is really good.
I don't have Ewan in any form at all, and it makes me sad. It
You should
makes
be sad. You should be very sad. He's such a great character.
I
No, I'm just
know
kidding. But
I
if
know
only
he's
I could give you one.
I wish if you could trade me with something else. Imagine there was a trade option for another Eden in the near future. That would be crazy.
That would be the greatest because I would love to trade with some people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have units that other people don't. So and vice versa.
So,
Trying to look for his skills now.
so where do you want to put AS1 on character
Okay,
design?
so if it was on skill and in power as a unit, he's definitely in S or S plus for me. But design, I just need to fill in some of the spaces down below. I'm sorry, Ewan. He's one of my favorite units. I always use him, but design wise, I'll have to give him a B because it's he's too similar to Aldo.
Okay. So for me, I would definitely agree with you with B, but I would definitely put him at a C because obviously most of the details in his design overall is basically like Aldo, but a little bit older and has a sweet tooth personality. So
You don't like them dad designs, do you?
I mean, he does give up some cool dad vibes, but then when you actually have the character, he's actually a sweet tooth. I was like, oh, he likes sweets. He's gonna be friends
Yeah,
with
he
Suzette.
does.
He's gonna be friends with
His
Suzette.
story. Oh, they'd power each other up, right? Because in his story, he loves sweets. He just always
hmm
orders desserts.
It's like he is a big, strong, tough guy who just loves sweets. In the end, it's like
Like a dad.
yeah, so I would definitely put him at a C, but since we're conflicting, I'm going to put him at a B tier so that way we have some space at the bottom. Next up, we have Yuna in her normal style. So here we have Yuna. Oh, wait. We can just show this one, her sprite version.
Yuna is that the same name as the Final Fantasy X character? Is her name Yuna as well?
I think it was Yuna from Final Fantasy X, I believe. But
I'm gonna.
design
Yes,
wise,
it is.
yeah, but design wise, she is very priestess like. I do love her design overall. She definitely gives off that priestess vibes, like I was mentioning earlier. She does have a beautiful, beautiful staff, and like she's just embracing her Eastern form and just being so elegant, so vibey. And she definitely gives off a good vibe, especially with her character quests and all. And battle wise, she is great. She is a great support and debuffer. Especially if you're starting out in another Eden, Yuna is a great character to start off with. But overall design, I do like the Japanese style outfit, do like all of it, and I do love the color coding. It's really, really pretty. So that's my opinion on Yuna's character design.
I absolutely agree. It's very elegant, her design. The wand, she's a priestess. So I just quickly Googled Final Fantasy Yuna, but Yuna in Final Fantasy is also a priestess
Mm-hmm.
who has very similar um, quite a similar setup to Yuna, but I don't know if that's a Japanese thing where priestesses actually normally look like that, or if it's a direct rip off like Amy and Tifa.
Mm.
That aside, I definitely love Yuna's character and her side quests.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler for anyone who hasn't played it yet: Yuna gets absolutely drunk and hammered, and which is just awesome.
I remember that. I
Um,
remember playing that quest. It was too
um,
funny.
it was one of my favorite quests. It made me love Yuna even more. Yeah, that's it. So her design is very elegant, and but though I think it is a bit safe,
Mm-hmm.
though that seems to be the trend of the older units in the game. Now they
Mm-hmm.
seem to be getting a bit more extreme.
They're getting more like mature, a bit revealing in the outfits, but like still possessing that same kind of personality that they usually have as a character. Just
Hmm.
design overall and like how it would look on the character would be a little bit different as well. So
Yeah.
for tier listing on her character design, I would say she is an A tier for me because it's very elegant, very fitting for her as a priestess, and considering the fact that she is her name is the same as that one character from Final Fantasy X, I do think she is kind of like our Yuna from Final Fantasy X in another Eden and has the same name but with a different design in her dress overall. So I would say she is an A tier. What about you?
Uh, Okay. Yep. Let's put her in A.
Okay, let's put her in an A tier. Perfect. She's joined up
And
with. Oops. There we go. We got
Yeah,
to
I'm
put
glad.
that.
Yeah, you're right about the new characters being all mostly revealing. So it's good to see a mix of a bit of a conservative dress, compared to all the new ones that are coming out.
Mm-hmm. So the next one we have is our lovable teacher, Serene. Now, who doesn't love Serene? Am I right?
Yes, I would be scared to be a student in real life, especially if she walks around legally with, I don't know if it's legally, but with a whip, right? What kind of teacher who holds a whip in the future? Uh, Standards for abuse there must be very low
Now,
in the
for her
future.
design overall, she does have that vibe of so many characters that we all know and basically sometimes love and hate in some animes and shows that we all know. And if you know, you know. I'm not going to mention it on camera, but we all know. She does have that very ladylike vibe, but she does have that little bit of a spicy note to her, if you know what I mean. Especially with the whip that she's carrying. It's like, ma'am, are you okay? And she's very dangerous too. So if you don't want to get on her bad side at all, do you?
No, definitely not. Especially for anyone who's played her side quests, you definitely don't. And back in the day, her unlocking her unit was pretty difficult, if you remember.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, she definitely pulls. They're definitely going like when you look at her design, you know what they're going for with this. They're going for that dominatrix type of teacher, um, who's got glasses, but she's also pretty crazy. She has a gangster background.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's like the hey teach kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of get what they want from this design.
Yeah. And she does really she is like an adult per se, and she is very much like she does teach well, but if you get on her bad side, she'll just whip that whip out of her skirt and just like, don't mess with me.
You'd have permanent scars. Imagine if she whips you in the
I
face.
know,
Oof.
right? But I don't even want to experience the fact. I don't even want to anymore. I don't want to be near someone with a flippin' whip. I don't want to be those kinds of people. Like, I don't want to be near them. I just want to stay away from them, especially if they carry a whip around. No, thank you.
And then she does it to teenagers, which is even.
I
We won't
know.
go there.
I know.
It's
We won't.
anime world.
It's anime for you. It's anime 101 after all. Anyway, back to character design tier listing. So where do you want to put her? I would say she's in C tier because she's like her design is kind of simple yet like very lady and very formal, but she does give off a little bit of, some kind of inappropriate vibes for me because of course, if you notice her design, she has slits down her skirt. If you didn't see it.
Ooh.
You didn't notice?
No, I didn't. No.
Right here, right here. Like the slits right here. It's very much
Whoa.
it's very much revealing, and I just like, give this teacher a bit of a more appropriate style of clothing. But like, it's a character, it's a playable character. I would put her at a definite C. What do you think?
She is like in terms of her character as a unit, she is. I still use her. She's one of my most powerful Earth units in my
Mm-hmm.
team. I use her frequently. She saved me. She saved my ass out of so many situations. But her design, I mean, the objective of the design, I think they've accomplished exactly what they want from that. Like the teacher who's kind of kinky, but then again they're high school students. But then it's Japanese, so it's all right.
Yeah.
Um, but she looks a little bit awkward in that design, and I would also give her a C
All right.
because yeah, just because of the way they presented her, the way she's lying down. I don't know, it's a little bit awkward. I think they could have made it a little bit better, but I get where they're coming from. So yeah, let's give it a C.
All
Happy with
right.
that.
I'm also happy with her having a C, so I'm very sorry, Serene, but if you're actually here in real life, Don't try.
Yeah.
Don't, please
Yeah,
don't.
we didn't give you a C. We gave you an S plus. Please don't please
Please
don't
don't.
follow us.
Please don't. It's for plus points, remember? Plus points. Alright, next up we have our lovable knight, Annabelle. NS form, Annabelle. She does definitely give up a very knightly vibe. Of course, she's the leader, she's the captain of the Knights of England, after
Mm.
all.
She is like just hearing her name and just seeing her like this and knowing her backstory. She's just amazing, and
Mm-hmm.
I hope they revisit her and empower her up to make
Mm-hmm.
her like to still keep him to make her like a good tank today. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there are other units that are better than her now in terms of skills,
Mm-hmm.
but if they revisit her and give her a true manifest and get the powers her up, that would be awesome because
Mm-hmm.
she's an awesome character. I love her.
Yeah, she is very, very powerful, and she is a great starting tank unit in the early days of Another Eden. And if the producers and creators of Another Eden would give her a true manifest weapon, that would be a great a great opportunity for her, because not only she is a very powerful tank, but she's also a great support for the units that she's going to be helping out during battle. And with her overall design, I do think she kind of. Now, I know you've played Genshin Impact, right?
I'm about 2 hours into it.
Ooh, yeah, I saw that video. Now, I'll take Annabelle and compare her with Jean, and she is the acting grandmaster of the Knights of Favonius. Now, she is also a knight, and Jean is also a knight. And comparing the two designs, they look very similar. But in terms of clothing, she is more knightly than Jean. So
Shall we have a look at Jean for our audience?
yeah, yeah. Let's look at Jean right now.
I
Jean.
just met Jean, by the way, in Genshin Impact, but I don't remember her face.
Okay, so here is Jean.
Oh,
This is her design. She definitely gives off some knightly vibes, and of course, she is called the Dandelion Knight in Genshin Impact. And compare her to Annabelle, she is more of a AoE attacker than a support and tanker unit. So I would say Annabelle would definitely beat her in like a one-on-one battle. But in terms
for
of this,
sure.
yeah, for sure. But in designs, I think Annabelle would definitely suit her because she's more knightly and more armored up, if you would say that.
It's really looking back on these designs retrospectively. They definitely were a bit different back in the day, weren't they? The
Mm-hmm.
earlier units like Annabelle and Yuna, there was a lot less going on in the background of the designs. They don't have
Yeah.
that little creature best friend of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a lot less revealing, but it's pretty cool. Annabelle, I think her design is very elegant, and her armor looks more practical than Jean's. Jean, I don't even know she's wearing any armor. It's just all
Clothing.
latex or clothing, like a yoga outfit of
No
some sort. But
armor. No
Annabelle,
armor whatsoever.
Annabelle at least looks a bit knightly,
Mm-hmm.
and I like it.
So where do we want to put Annabelle at? In terms of her design, of course.
So I'm going to put a bit of emotion behind this, simply for the fact that Annabelle has been one of my units for years,
Mm-hmm.
and she supported me for years, and I know her story, so that maybe I'm a bit biased. So I'm going to give her an A.
Oh, okay. I'm I would give her a C because not only I mean she is like she is like a real character. She's like I would say how do I put it? She does have a beautiful appearance, especially with her knightly form. But in terms of like power, in terms of like tanking things and support, I think there are better units than her. But in terms of design, I would definitely put her at a C. And since our conflict means we are conflicting, I'm going to put her at a B tier so that we're
Okay.
even. All right.
And I hope these units will never hear what we're saying about them.
True.
Unless it's Aldo.
Unless
Yeah.
it's Aldo. Yeah, unless it's Aldo. Okay. 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 All right. So, we are now going to go to our lovable Hierophant, Marielle. Oh dear Marielle.
Marielle, man, do you remember when she was like top of the tier list
I know.
for like months?
She's like,
Was it a year?
I don't know. It's like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But like, she was one of the best healer support units in the game before Daenerys came in.
Yeah, and before a bunch of other, before Pizzica, before everyone just started
Mm-hmm.
being better than her. But I used her up to, I think, up to the end of last year all the time, especially with her manifest weapon. That kind of gave her a bit of a chance with her holy blast and her healing spell, which kind of gave everyone mana and healing at the same time. And yeah, she used to be one of the most popular units in the game, and I actually pulled her from one of my free rolls, and I was so happy. Her and Suzette were actually some of my best wins, one of my
Mm.
best pulls in the game.
Oh,
In terms of
okay.
design, there's an anime character that looks exactly like her, right? I've seen people share it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't even know what the character was, but I do think she does look similar to a certain character in an anime. I think it was I think it was from what's that anime called? Is it wrong to pick up girls from another dungeon? I think it was called. They did recently do a collab with another Eden too, if you remember.
No. Okay.
You
I had
didn't
no
know?
idea.
You didn't know?
Nope.
So, okay, there was this game called Dan Maki Frisia, and one of their collaborations was with another Eden, and Marielle was one of the characters in that collaboration, alongside Aldo, Fiend, and Thilili. And like, I do see some kind of similarities with that character in Dan Maki, although I have not watched the anime at all. I think it was very similar to that. I think.
Oh yeah, Danmaki. I've heard some people talk about it on my channel, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I saw a video on YouTube once.
I do think so. And like and of course she is a hierophant. She does give up really much of a she is a healer of course and she does and her design really says so. And like she may look a little bit, I mean, I'm not going to be saying mean like she does kind of give off a bit of a I would not call her basic. She's very powerful, but like her design overall, I'm not I'm not putting a negativity on Marielle. I know everyone in the United Indian community loves Marielle, and she's very useful with healing and shielding. But I think that her design is very much like it's simple, it's plain, but it fits well with her character. So that's my opinion.
Well, what would you rate her?
I would think I would rate her at a in terms of design, I would think I would rate her at a B tier.
Okay. Um, I love her design. I don't know which came first, or if it's a Japanese thing where princesses wear that stuff, because there was that anime that character that looked exactly like her. Um,
Do you recall the
so I w-
name of the anime?
no, but people were sharing it on Reddit, or maybe it was from the collab. I'm not sure.
Mm,
If anyone has any knows what it is, feel free to comment in the
yeah.
video. But would love to know. I think I love it. Like I love her unit, and I love what she wears. Like let's assume it's completely unique. I like her design. I think it's very elegant. It's very clean because she's kind of like a white mage, very innocent in heart and in mind, and I get it. So
Mm-hmm.
I would give her an A.
Ooh, okay. So I would definitely put her. So we're gonna put her in an A just so we're even right here.
Okay.
Okay. The
Yep.
next one is your waifu once again, but in her dun 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 ES form. ES
Oh
Suzette.
yeah.
Okay, there's no picture on Google. We're just gonna go directly to the Vidaheza wiki. Or I clicked the wrong. Whoops! I clicked the wrong. I clicked the wrong
It should
thing. Whoopsies!
Is there a? I think there's a link there. No.
No, I don't think so. We're just gonna type it in. There we go. I don't know why. My gosh, the Miraheze wiki
Mm.
is having some trouble right now. But hey, Miraheze wiki does have her character
It
design.
it is the greatest. Whoever updates this, you guys are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just always up to date.
Arigato gozaimasu to the creators and
Arigato.
updaters of the Miraheze wiki. You guys are the best. So,
Yes, the best indeed.
so in terms of design, ooh, what do you think?
Oh man, I am gonna be 100% biased here. I love it. It is like it's the alter version of. Oh, she's not alter, is she? She's an extra style version of Suzette. So she is the Suzette powered up when she finally realizes who she is,
Mm-hmm.
and it's revealed. And so she's still bringing on that gothic Lolita look, but it's with a white outfit instead. And
Mm-hmm.
which other gothic Lolitas in real life actually do wear, right?
Yeah. Sometimes
She's
some Lolita goth characters do wear white clothing, but they most prefer like a dark
the
clothing.
black.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I love that she uses a hammer. I like that her eye is sparkling. I love her posture in this design. It just shows her full of confidence because if you follow her character arc, she finally gets it. She realizes, and if anyone has unlocked her extra style and has played her side quest, everything gets wrapped up in Suzette's story, her story arc, and
Mm-hmm.
she finally realizes who she is. She acknowledges her past and grows from it. And I think, this illustration illustrates that because
Mm-hmm.
you can see she's brimming with confidence. She's super powered up. I wish I think it's the illustration doesn't really get talked about in her side quest though. Like the little devil and the little angel. I'm not sure what they're meant to represent.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool addition, but it's not explained in the story.
True. And for me, my opinion on her design is that of course, she is very elegant. She is super pretty. She is a definite princess. She does have the little crown on her head, which is very, like, plus points for me. And, like, her overall design is very, very much elegant, like royalty, even though she's not, like, she is, like, speaking in her own, like, own tongue, like she is the princess of the netherworld. It's kind of like the Lily, like she is a self-proclaimed reincarnation of the sword-wielding savior. It's kind of like that, but for Suzette, she is the self-proclaimed princess of the netherworld, when in reality she came from the lost laboratory, and she is the third character to have a pair of wings. She would definitely be friends with Mister and Clark if they ever meet each other in different. Since they're both from different time. Since the three of them are, like, from different timelines, of course. I would love to see those three characters, with wings, Mister, Clark, and Suzette, flying together in the sky. And in terms of weaponry, I do love her dual wielding with the hammers. She can double bonk you, bonk, bonk, bonk.
I know, right? You don't
And
want to
that's
say anything negative about her. She would destroy you.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I commented every time, like, man, I wish Suzette could double bonk my enemies, double bonk, just bonk them and go to jail. Double bonk them, of course.
And she is super powerful. Like her
Mm-hmm.
unit. Have you unlocked her yet? Extra
No,
style.
I have not,
Okay.
but I'm currently working up my Lucifer codexes. And speaking of which, I do love her class name. It's Lucifer, and every game, every show, every anime that I watch needs to have some kind of connection with with the name Lucifer, and it's fitting for ESUZ, of course. And it definitely depicts it as well, since her wings are black and white. Black could symbolize devil, and white
Mm.
could symbolize angel. And since Lucifer was an angel falling out of heaven and entering hell, it would symbolize that, right?
That's true, and it kind of represents her internal struggles too. Like she did
Mm-hmm.
something terrible, but she's
Yeah.
trying to be good out of it. And but she also always talks about the netherworld and demons and things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
It would definitely make sense, and it's a perfect class name for ESCZ to take on the title of Extra Style Lucifer. Of course, it definitely fits. Now, in terms of character designs, where do we want to put her on the tier list?
Oh, you know where I'm gonna put her. I'm gonna have to give her a. Because this might, looking at the list, she might be. I would give her an S plus.
I would definitely give her an S plus too because she definitely represents a lot for her character, and it definitely
Mm.
shows that she is super strong now that she has fully found herself in her story arc. So I would definitely put her at an S plus tier. Our first
I would.
S plus tier character, of course.
Woohoo, Suzette!
Yay!
All right, so the only character who's allowed to hear us is Suzette
Yeah.
because we gave a
Ev-
good point.
Everyone loves Suzette. Everyone does.
Her story, I think she has one of my favorite story arcs. It's
Mm-hmm.
just I love it. I almost moved to tears with her and Suzette Alter's story. Yeah,
Okay.
they got me emotional, man.
Yeah, it definitely fits well because, of course, we all love Suzette. And the next one, and we're moving on right now, the next one we're obviously going to look at is my top third husbando, Dewey Alta,
Oh,
my
are
man.
we gonna speak? Are we gonna hear your top one husbando on this list?
Obviously, it's freaking obvious if you follow me on Twitch, link down in the description below.
Okay, all right.
So Dewey is my top three is my third place. Third placer Hosbando. He is very much my favorite, and he's super duper powerful too. He helps me out a whole lot of the times. And in terms of his design, red clad flame answer, it's absolutely magnificent. It definitely symbolizes a lot of so much power and a little bit of losing control over his power because if you follow along with KMS Mythos, he does kind of have a bit of a struggle in terms of his powers and like how that backstory really connects with his character, and it definitely puts him at a certain like control of himself and his emotions to what happened to him in that flashback of KMS Mythos. I think it was chapter 4, I believe. Am I right? Is it chapter 4 where we got to hear his flashback, or was it chapter 3?
Yeah. I don't remember. Four rings a bell, but I could be wrong.
So yeah, and it definitely shows that he is like, I'm facing my fears, I'm going to fight back, I'm not holding back anymore. And he's like, yes. I'm like, yes. Hasbando, top tier, third placer. He's my favorite. What do you think?
Okay. Thanks for that extremely biased review of Dewey. But is quick question? I'm curious. Is NS Dewey one of your husbandos as well, or is it Dewey Alta?
Dewey Alter is my husbando. I just see NS Dewey as like a brother figure,
Yeah.
a little brother figure.
Oh, friend zone. Ouch. And NS Dewey is the one who loves women, right? He's always trying to get a girlfriend.
I know.
Uh,
I'm sorry, Dewey. I'm
he-
sorry, normal style Dewey, but Alter Dewey is my favorite. Okay.
the girls love them bad boys, but I love Dewey Alter's design, and I love it's how it contrasts from NS Dewey. So NS
Mhm.
Dewey is like the innocent Dewey, who's kind of has a repressed. He's done something dark in his childhood, out of his control. But
Mhm.
Alter Dewey is like, yep, this is I've done some really bad stuff growing up, and I'm aware of everything. And the world is a horrible place. I grew up in a bad environment. This is me. I'm emo, and his character, his unit as a game unit is broken, but so is his personality is broken, which is cool. Like how they made him a broken powered unit, but also a broken character at the same time.
Someone needs to
And
give
so
him emotional support. I don't want him to
emotional
feel.
damage.
I want to give him emotional support, and that's why he's my husbando,
You
my
gotta marry
third
him.
place.
You gotta marry him.
I'm going
His
to marry
design,
him. He's my favorite.
and he's water and flame, right? So I
No,
love
water
how
and
they
crystal. Water and
oh,
no,
water and crystal.
fire and
Okay.
crystal. Fire and crystal. Fire and crystal.
Okay, cool. That still makes sense then. So the blue and the red, because I haven't unlocked him yet. So
Ooh,
I really want him. I really want to get him.
he's super
But
duper
his
powerful.
design, he sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
Zara's cool. He looks like the lead singer of The Cure, and also Edward Scissorhands for anyone who knows how they
Okay.
look.
Okay.
Very emo. I think he's wearing Doc Martens with red laces.
Mm-hmm.
And he reminds me of a Suzette because they both kind of grew up in a lab. They both
Yeah.
killed heaps of people,
Mm-hmm.
and I love him. Yeah, I would give him top two, two thumbs up as well. Love his
Okay.
design.
So in terms of tier listing, I would definitely put him in an S plus tier because he's my husbando. I'm very biased. I'm sorry, but he's super duper powerful in the game. And character design wise, he just gives off that bad boy vibes, and I do like that.
Even though he's a suspicious character, I'll give you my blessing. You can marry him, and I'll give him an S plus.
Yay! We
He has a good
agree.
heart.
Yeah, he's
He's a
next.
violent dude, but he has a good heart.
He has a good heart, and he's next to Suzette, which both are from the Lost Lab, of course. Makes sense. All right.
Yep.
Next up, we have my first waifu, Mistrair, normal style. So, what do you think? What do you think of
Mine too.
Mistrair? Yeah.
I love her. Have you played her side quest?
No, I have not. I actually haven't played her AS form quest yet, but I completed all of her NS quests, and she is absolutely adorable. And if you're friends with her, she would give you a nickname.
Yes, it is. Oh, I haven't played. I don't have her AS, but I do have her NS, and her side quest is amazing. Like it has heaps of cameos of all the units throughout the game, like a whole heap of units. I think Hardy's in there, right?
Ooh.
Um, yeah. Well, I'm guessing is Hardy your number one?
No, it's not. I'm sorry to all the Hardy fans out there, but Hardy's not my husbando. The fact that I don't have him at all.
Ooh,
Oof, that hurts.
you gonna get some people angry.
No, I actually don't have. But the fact that I get to stare so many times on camera, I'll be like, "Do you want to?" And people are like asking, like, "Do you want to trade?" I'll be like, "No." Even if I get a dupe of her, I'll be like, "No." She's my waifu, of course. So in terms of
Um,
her design, she definitely gives off such elegance, if you would say that. I do love her overall design. I do love her shoes though. Like, damn girl, gets what are those?
they are the most impractical shoes I've ever seen.
I mean,
That's why she flies, I guess.
yeah. I think they're platform shoes, if you would say. Platform shoes. They do
Yeah, it's
feel
like she's walking down like a Victoria's Secret fashion walk with the wings and the
she
crazy shoes.
she definitely gives up a vibe of a Victoria's Secret model if you with the wings, of course. She definitely gives off that. She is an angel. She is a winged being, of course. It's very, 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 very elegant. I do like her design, and I do think she deserves an S tier for me. What do you
Oh my
think?
gosh.
What do you think?
Okay, so I love her unit. I love her sprite more than her illustration. And I love her side quest. I love her story. I love her character and personality. Her as a character, she's pretty powerful. She dies a lot on me for some reason.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I don't know why.
you're not using her
Maybe it's just me.
properly. You're not giving
Yes,
her too
exactly. It's
much
probably all
love.
my fault.
You give her too much. Give her a lots of love. Okay.
I'm giving Suzette too much attention. I don't know why. It's my fault. But I I love her wings, but I'm not too sold on the design. What's missing? Not sure. Uh, I think it's the shoes. You love the shoes, but I don't know. I can't see it. I think that's why she flies because she can't walk in those shoes. It's too
I mean,
difficult. She needs to change them.
if you remember from one of the chapters in Zerburia Mythos, she lost one of her wings and she was easily walking around in those shoes. Like when
There
she
must be some special, super
maybe
soft,
they must be special.
or maybe she's insecure about her height, so she just needs to look taller in front of all them. um, I
Ouch.
would. So you would give her an S?
Yeah, I gave her an
Oh,
S. What do you think?
I'm gonna. Sorry to anyone who's a big fan of her design. I love her as a unit and as a character and a person, but design-wise, I'm gonna have to give her a C. So we might have to go in between
Oh,
that.
oh,
Yeah.
I think since I'm an S and you're a C, I think the best bet would probably be an A tier, if you're okay with that.
Yep.
Because she is great overall as a character if you use her in the game. and she is great overall. But since we're conflicting design wise, I think she deserves an A tier. Gotta give her some
Okay.
love. Gotta give her some love.
Yeah, she's a great person too.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
There's-
The next. All right. So the next one. I'm sorry for cutting you off from time to time. I don't even know
no
when you're
worries.
gonna stop talking or you're gonna start talking.
It's all right.
All right. Next up is Vena. Another style.
Oh yeah,
She's mommy vibes. Mommy vibes. That's all I'm gonna.
mommy vibes.
Yeah, she gives off a lot of mommy vibes. She tells a lot of stories, and people are going to sleep.
Oh, that's right. More like grandma vibes then, and she would be thousands of years old, right?
Yeah, she would definitely tell. She would be definitely 1,000 years old, but she definitely gives off either you for you. It would be grandma vibes for me, mommy vibes.
I I'm a big fan of her. I love elves. I mean, she's a good looking elf, and she's very womanly in terms of her illustration and very flowery. And her units, I think, I still use it here and there because she is a wind zone unit.
Mm-hmm.
Her AS style, I don't really use her normal style, but her AS style is she still puts up a good fight for me anyway. Her story is okay, and her design I like it. I think she looks really good. She looks like a great waifu, a mum. I guess she's ready to have kids. She's thousands of years old. She's an elf. Um, that's all I have to say. I love her design. But it kind of looks like lingerie though. Or maybe that's how elves dress. I
I
don't know.
mean, some. I don't know if elves in anime would look like this, but like, oh, for Vena, she would definitely give off that vibe. And for her design, of course, it's very evident that her design is based off of butterflies, and I do like that. And it's a great combination: flowers, butterflies, a beautiful combination. And I do love
Mm.
her color coding of a bit of some whites and purples in there. It's very, very elegant. And purple does symbolize the color of royalty, and I do think she is
Oh,
a
true.
very, very, very beautiful character. So,
And her wand has flowers all over it. She's
mm-hmm,
all about peace and love.
yeah, and it's very, very, very pure, very peaceful, and I do love her design overall. And now, tier list back. What do you say we put her at? I would put her at an A tier for me. What about you?
Oh, I was going to give her a B, so happy to give her an A.
All right. Perfect. A tier for AS Veda.
Thank you, Vena.
Mhm. Next up is, again, we're going back to Suzette, but this time it's her alter Suzette. It's her alter version. Now, what can you say on first impressions? First, only one word. What can you say about alter Suzette when you first saw her?
I immediately thought of Ghost in the Shell. I just thought about this
Ooh.
futuristic cyberpunk chick who has an attitude. How about you?
I think first impressions for me with Alter Suzette is definitely futuristic and a little bit of like a little bit of elegancy because of course she is Alter Suzette. She does have a bit of elegance like in like especially with her cape and all. She definitely has that. And the way she's like showing off her side, she's like, you don't want to mess with me because I am elegant. And like her
Yeah.
overall design is very very like very professional but with a little bit of style for her because if you can see in her overall design she wears a freaking short dress with like a little bit too revealing there. She has like a garter and some boots with some bandages wrapped around her leg. It's very very professional but also a bit of a rebel, if you might say.
It seems to be the prerequisite for all new designs, like they need to show thighs. They just need, it
Thighs,
seems to be a thing. Yeah.
dominance, thigh dominance. So, what can you say about her design?
I agree with you, and it seems she gives off. They've done it right. They've done it pretty well because you can tell it's a futuristic character. She's got like this Matrix, Ghost in the Shell, cyberpunk type getup,
Mm-hmm.
and they've. I like how does she have the all-seeing eye? Does she have the special eye in this design? I haven't really zoomed into her alter design yet. I like how she has the halo thing,
Mm-hmm.
which because she talks about being the netherworld princess and angels and demons and things. So they kind of kept that consistent, that whole angel, demon, halo, crown type of thing. So she instead of a normal halo, she has a futuristic little circle thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as a unit itself, I pulled her a few weeks ago, and she's extremely powerful. Like
Yeah.
she does massive damage at a level. She's only level 60, but she's already a really powerful unit for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's all I have to say. I think the design is all right, though. It doesn't seem as unique as Extra Style Suzette. It doesn't give me that same impact visually. Though I get that she's a futuristic character for me, but I wish it just doesn't tug on my heartstrings as much as the extra style design.
Okay. So where do we want to put Suzette at? For me, I would say she is an S tier, just because I do like her designs and I'm really big into like I always see a lot of like outfits on Pinterest, and when I see her design, she is like a rebellic. I don't know if it's a word, rebel like outfit. I would definitely put her at an
Mm.
S tier, and for her design and for her powers in the game, and it's really really powerful. She gives off that
Mm.
strong woman vibes.
I like her sprite design. She looks badass. But in terms of her illustration, I would say it doesn't seem as unique as extra style. I would have given her an A, but I'm happy to give her an S.
Ooh, okay.
But still, I'm still a massive Suzette fan, by the way, and her story is great.
Mm-hmm.
So
So we're gonna put her at an A tier, so we it's evened out properly.
okay.
All right. Next up is Daenerys, another
Ooh,
style form.
what's it that giggle?
Nothing. He's just my one of my husbandos that is not top one yet.
Yet.
He's my top four. Okay, he's my top
Is
four.
that another style?
Yes, that is Daenerys, another style. Now, when I saw this design, I my head just popped in like K-pop vibes.
You're giggling like a schoolgirl.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of K-pop, but like his style, like yes, give the boob window. the, it's good. It's beautiful, and he's like showing a bit of thighs, maybe a little
Yeah, there
bit.
we go. Even the men are showing their thighs, yeah?
Yeah, right here. And like, of course, we have Braun sitting on his shoulder. It's very cute,
Mm.
and like completes the entire design. And I think, of course, he gives off K-pop vibes, but he's very much like an idol for me. He's very, very like beautiful in a sense that he can kick your butt, but he can also put on some style. Am I right?
Does he give you Edward from Twilight vibes? Like that
Ah,
mysterious dark soul?
I mean, you could say something. You could say it like that, but I do think he is very, very like very beautiful, and it's very like elegant, if you could say. I pretty much said elegant for every single character we have discussed so far. So, what do you think of his design?
I love his sprite design. He looks cool. And I love him as a unit as well. He's a pretty powerful wind unit.
Mm-hmm.
I put him in terms of skill, I usually put him in the same category, a little bit better than AS Vayner. His design, I love his sprite more than his illustration, though I love how Brian's in the background. I love the mysterious moonlight in the background, as well as, I don't know, what do you call that border? That shrine, is that a shrine in his wand? Though I think they could probably make him look. I've seen a better illustration of this. Is this AS?
It's
This is right.
AS. Yes, that is his
Yeah. Okay.
AS
Well,
form.
What does normal style look like?
His normal form, he instead since his AS form wears a pair of pants, he wears like a Scottish skirt, if you would say. It's like a
Yep.
skirt. It's like a skirt, like a battle skirt, if you'd say.
Okay. So, I like. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I like his. No, that's not his another style.
What?
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, that is his another style. I like his normal style illustration more.
Mm-hmm.
He get that one gave me more K-pop vibes. That I would turn into a schoolgirl for that one. I'm a bigger fan of the normal style, and I love him as a unit, and I like his story and what he does.
Mm-hmm. He is also like I do like his story too. He's very family oriented, especially to his long past spoiler alert, long past sister Relieth, and he's very, very close to her, even after she passed away, and it's very, very sad to see. But he's also very caring, especially towards Aldo. I ship it. I ship both. I ship those two. It's so cute. Their chemistry is like a little bit
Yes.
platonic, a little bit platonic, but like also very on very good terms. They're very cute together.
Yeah, they're
So,
a good duo.
so where do you want to put Daenerys AS at? I'm not gonna be biased here just because he's my husbando, but I'm going to put him in an S tier, just below Alter Dewey.
Okay, I'm gonna hurt your feelings. I would have given him a B. I'm sorry. I would have given his normal style an A, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm a bigger fan of that. So happy to go up a few up for you,
Mm.
one up if you want.
Yay! So we can definitely put him in an S tier. Yes, he's my love. He's my favorite.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can't stop you from loving
He's
him.
a
So
he's very different to like Dewey and like my other husbandos. He's a beast. He's a beast. He's a
yeah,
beast folk. I like it. Anyways, not to mention that I like Gilda or anything.
and
Not to
how
mention
about Lokido?
Lokiro, not my type. Sorry.
Oh man, no one likes Lokido.
I mean, Lokito is like your best friend, your best bud in like adventures.
Friend zone. There should be a. We should do like a friend zone tier list.
Oh, that would be so good. But we could have other guests here too. Like I know you mentioned in our conversation last time you were gonna contact an Anaden goddess and maybe Will Mac.
I hope so. If you're listening and I didn't got us, we'd love to have a chat.
Yeah, if you're watching this, another Eden content creators, if you're watching this, we would love to collab with you. And speaking of characters, our next character is N.S. Kikyo.
Cool. What do you think of her?
I at first she reminds me of Kuching from Genshin Impact, like with the clones and everything. If you've seen her character sprite, she definitely resembles Kuching, but instead of wielding a sword, she wields like these dual circular axe blades, and it's really really cool. And I do love her design. It's very futuristic, and it's very much casual. Futuristic style look, and I do like the little horns on her little um, hair tie. It gives up a vibe of an Oni, as mentioned in her story, in the main story. It's very cool, and I do like it. And that's all I could say about her design. She just reminds me of Kuching from Genshin Impact. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know Kuching, so I would love to see her.
Hmm.
Should we put her up with it for our audience?
Yeah, sure, we could put her up. So this is Kuching. She is my currently well-built character in Another Eden. So Another Eden, Genshin Impact. I'm getting them too confused. I'm sorry. So this is Kuching, and you can tell their designs are very similar, like the clones in the background, and like they're holding their
Yeah.
weapons. It's very similar.
And the purple color scheme.
Mm-hmm. They do have a purple color scheme, which is very pretty. I do love purple. Purple is one of my favorite colors, and for design wise, it's very very much so futuristic and casual at the same time.
I she reminds me of like she's got that over the hip hop get up, and especially her another style version with the graffiti in the background.
Hmm.
Is am I right? It has graffiti in the background, right? Or another
Yeah,
style
it has
illustration. Yeah.
like, yeah, it has graffiti in the background.
She's yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I love the futuristic outfit, the late is it latex or leather, the little cape she's wearing. I
Mm-hmm.
love the color scheme. I wish I knew more about her character from what I played of her.
Mm-hmm.
Though I think she gives off this funky girl vibe who's
Mm-hmm.
good at hip hop. I don't know why. Yeah, so that's all I can say.
Mm-hmm. All right. So where do we want to put Kikyo at?
I would say I think it's a cool illustration, and though it's not like the future, like extra style. Sorry, Alta Suzette. It doesn't bring me that. It's not doesn't give me pull at my heartstrings for some reason. It's cool, but it's not unique. It doesn't really make me remember her. Maybe that's because I haven't played as her unit that much.
Mm,
So I would give
okay.
her a B.
Ooh, a B tier. I would give her an A because she definitely is a great unit. And in terms of her story, it
Yep.
definitely seems like she really likes to she really wants to help the beast folk in Angle, and it's a very contaminated area, and like no one goes to the surface anymore, like the ground surface. So she really wants to
Oh,
help a lot of like the beast folk that are stranded there just because of like the pollution and everything. So I would give her an A tier for her design and her entire storyline as well.
sorry, that's what I wanted to add to it. Yeah, because when you play the main story, you see her. That's how you meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would have been good if they incorporated some of her beast background. Like she was raised by a beast, right? Like a well, or if she grew up with beast, at least it would have been good to see some kind of element of the beast lifestyle incorporated into a design. So she's like human, but she identifies with beasts. You know, that would have been cool.
Yeah, so I would definitely put her in A tier, so we can balance it out. I'm gonna put her in A tier so that it's balanced. It's very perfect. Look at our
Okay.
tier list so far. It's beautiful.
It's going towards A. There's a lot
Hmm.
of A's in there.
There's a lot of A characters here. And next up, we have our fiery god Prometheus, Garyu, another
Oh yeah,
style. Oh yeah,
he's a guy I would love to be friends with purely online. If I met him, he would be so intense.
I know
He'd probably kill me.
he would, but like if you see his design in his another style form, he definitely resembles that of a dragon. Like
Yes.
on his
Yep.
legs, like the legs to the arms, very dragon-esque.
I love his illustration. Like this is what I like because I get a feeling from the moment I see it. Like I can tell this guy is an intimidating dude. The wicked grin he has on his face just
Mm-hmm.
represents his personality. Like he's like he's psychotic. He's crazy dude. He's really into fire, really into becoming powerful, and
Mm-hmm.
you can tell he's just a man on fire. Like, he's got
Mm-hmm.
the tail, as you said, looks like a dragon, and you can tell he's just like powerful dude who's is a bit crazy. He's a bit unhinged, and he's ready to just burn everyone down.
Yeah, true. He's a really cool character in the game, and I would love to see more of like how he can do. Like if another Eden WFS creators would give him a manifest weapon, he would absolutely be super duper powerful. Like I would definitely see that from a mile away that he's super duper powerful, and he would just be the best fire unit out there. And considering one of my favorite elements in the entire game is fire and wind, I think Garyu AS would be another addition to my fire team if he ever had a manifest weapon to go along with with this design as well.
Yeah, so I absolutely agree. I love the journey you go on unlocking the another style version and how you see Gary you just become stronger and stronger and he
Mm-hmm.
finally beats that spoiler alert that you know the thing he I don't want to spoil too much, but the thing he wants to beat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty awesome.
So where do we want to put Garyu in the tier list?
I'm good.
Because of
Yep,
course
sorry.
sorry. So of course his design is very much dragon-esque, and I do like it. And he does have that fiery spirit just showing off. I would say he would
Mm.
be at an A tier for me.
I would even go as far as I'm going to S plus him. So let's
Ooh.
go in between.
It's in
Give him,
between.
put
He's
him in
going
S.
S tier. He's right next to Daenerys.
I
He's
just love crazy. Like he gives me like Alter Dewey vibe. Like he's a bit crazy.
hmm
So that's what I love. Yeah,
he's like Alter Dewey, but crazier.
but crazier. Who's willing to just burn everything down?
Yeah. And next, right? So we have four in S tier. And the next one we have the assassin, the ninja, the outlaw, Felmina. Look at her.
What do you think?
I do love her design and the fact that she has like this tavern-esque background to her. And she is very like very elegant but also feisty at the same time. But just look at her design. She has a blade at the end of her dress. How can you not tell she's
Imagine seeing that
dangerous?
in public.
I know. Everybody like step away from her. She's got a blade on the ground. It's
Call the police.
someone call 911 right now. But I do think that the blade, imagine if you're going to cosplay as Thelmina in real life, the blade would just like be a part as decoration of the dress. But if it's actually in real life, they'd be like, no way, I'm stepping away from that dress. It would be elegant and dangerous at the same time.
Mm. Um, I love this illustration, and I think a lot of guys would love this illustration. And
Mm-hmm.
she gives that La Femme Nikita vibe. Like she is the assassin who goes to the ball, but then kills you. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's wearing like a fancy dress,
Mm-hmm.
right? The only thing that I think is impractical, even with her sprite, is that weapon coming from a dress, because she's an assassin. She should be disguised, right? So I'm not
Yeah.
sure why that's there. That's the only downside. The rest, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely liking her design so well. Like the combination of green and black with hints of yet white together is very much like screams elegancy. It's very much like if you've seen a lot of like formal dresses, it's usually black and green, black or green with hints of white. Why not combine the two and then put it into one dress? And it's very much very elegant but also feisty as well. So I do like her overall design. She gives off a bit of a girly vibe as well with the ribbons and everything. So,
Mm.
where do you. I think for me, in terms of her character design and how she fights, she would definitely be an S tier for me. She is a very powerful blunt wind type attacker with her Tricataclysm.
Yeah, she was in the top list back in the day. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be good if they revisit her. And I think you made a good point about the green, because she does do poison, right? So there's a bit of a nature element and wind, so that the green is
Mm-hmm.
part of that, which is pretty clever. I would have loved to see some evidence of Miyu, because she loves Miyu, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'd been
She.
good to see some of that. I'd give him minus points for the weapon on her dress. So I would I'd still give her an S though, because I
mm-hmm.
love her story and everything.
All right. She's definitely an S tier. And one other detail I would like to mention is that can I zoom in? Is it zoom in? Oh yeah, I can definitely zoom in. Like if you can tell on her foot, she has nail polish, and like that's a small
Whoa.
detail you could never see in game. Like she
Yep.
wears nail polish. It's like super duper pretty. It's a very small but very detailed to not even notice. So I give her that, and of course,
That is cool.
yeah, she is an S tier for me. Next up,
I hope they revisit her.
mm-hmm.
I wanted to get more powerful again.
Yeah, I really want WFS to revisit her again. Next up, we have the second global character in the game, Eva.
Hello,
Hello, White
hello,
Dragon.
hello.
I got lucky with
Everyone's
you.
you. I'm so jealous. I was so jealous of everyone who got her when she came out.
Yeah, I uploaded that video onto my YouTube, link down in the description below, Will Mac actually commented it on my video. He's like it's like what? I'm getting noticed by the one and only Gamer Dad, and he's like it's the first comment he ever made on any of my videos. It's like
What did he say?
he simply said congrats and be like, oh, I got noticed by the Gamer Dad. It's
Oh,
crazy.
that's screenshot, put in
Mm,
your wallet, put on your fridge. Uh,
put it on my notebooks.
get him to sign it, like mail it to him. Uh,
Imagine meeting Will Mack at at a convention and just getting him to sign that picture. That would
the
be like,
comment. Remember that day? Because I know Will Mack. He had struggle pulling her as well.
mm-hmm.
So I remember him being very upset on some videos because he couldn't. I think he spent like a lot of chronostones trying to pull her.
I think the estimated amount of chronostones he spent on that banner for Eva was, I think, 19K, and I'd be like,
Ooh.
oof, that's so painful to watch. But I got
And
very
you, well,
lucky.
how much did you spend?
I spent
1,000?
like 1,000, and I got her on like the fourth tent pole from a silver door.
Sometimes life just isn't fair.
I
That's not
know.
right.
RNG a baddie. Anyways, back to her character design. What do you think? What do you think of her character design?
I love her story. It's you've watched it, right? It's a
Mhm.
tearjerker.
Mhm.
I was shocked. I don't want to spoil it for people, but I thought I was shocked by her background and what she came from. I absolutely love her story. Her personality is great, and I love the in the terms of design. I like how they incorporate the dragon and her blank eyes because of how similar. I don't want to spoil too much, but how similar they are in personality and they kind of like this share the same
Mhm.
soul or whatever. But I think they could have done better with an illustration. That's just my opinion. They could have made her look a little bit more impactful.
Mhm.
That's all I have to say.
Okay. For me, it's her design is very referenced a lot, considering that her elements is both water and crystal. There are some crystal shards floating around her, and I think that's a great detail
That's
to
true.
notice. And I do like the
Mm.
white dragon in the background and the way that she's holding up like an orb above her head that symbolizes how much power she can hold, considering she is a human with a dragon trapped inside of her body with details like she with the dragon horns in the tail. I think she is a very elegant and very like a bit of a sad character, if in a way, considering that she doesn't have like any color like light in her eyes about what happened to her in her character quest. So if for anyone who has played Eva and her character quest, you know what happens to the actual Eva and the astral dragon in that story.
That's true. That's a really good point about the lifelessness in her eyes, and maybe even a bit of a color scheme too. It's just kind of bland because that's kind of her emotion, right?
Mm-hmm. It does. So, where do we want to put Eva? Because she is a beautiful character. She not only shows a little bit of lifelessness in her, maybe a lot, but like her elegancy and the way she looks is very much like a beauty it's like there's a bit of lifelessness in herself that makes her beautiful in a way.
Where are you going to put her? Where are you going to put her?
For me, I would say an S plus tier because not only did she get
Whoa.
yeah she got me at her story. It was like
Mm.
you said, it was a very sad story to hear what happened to her origins. It's like her origin story in that final character quest.
I feel sad just thinking about that story. That is heartbreaking. I love her story. I love her character. And I love her as a unit. Like I use her all the time now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but her design, I don't know. I love how you pointed out the symbolism, the crystals, the dragon. Though for some reason, I think they could have done it better. So I'm going to hurt people's feelings right now. I'm judging it purely on the illustration, not her character, because I love her character, love her story. It's a good illustration, definitely. I can't draw that, definitely, but I think
Mm-hmm.
they could have done better. I'm going to hurt people's feelings. I'm going to say B.
Oof. So we're going to be stuck in the middle. So I'm going to put her in an S tier next to Felmina, which is an even out. If especially if you're in the middle with I'm going with S plus and you're going with B, it's a 50-50 chance it's either an S or an A tier, but I think an S is very much like
Yeah,
a
I think
closer thing.
that's okay for Eva because she's
Mm-hmm.
an amazing character.
Yeah, she is an amazing character with a very sad storyline, if we're being honest here, guys.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Oh no, don't cry, David, please. Next one is our another Eden's Lady Ningguang, aka Daisy.
Hey, hey, hey!
She is
Daisy's in the house. She is. I love. She is just sassy.
she
I
is
love it.
just spicy.
Yep. I would not. I would not want to talk to her in real life,
I
but she
know.
is cool. I'll be like, I won't want to talk to her, but I'd want to talk to her at the same time.
True. She is definitely giving me Ningguang vibes from Genshin. So here's a picture of Ningguang right here. Her outfit and style is very much similar to that of Ningguang, if you could tell. Look at
Yeah, I
her.
see it.
Yeah, look at her. Like the hairstyles, it's very similar. And like their outfit is also very similar. And she gives off mommy vibes.
Mommy.
Look,
Maybe
look.
I'm just old because they don't seem like mummies to me. Like Vayner and Daisy.
You
Maybe
know
I'm just
us.
old.
You know us, a in like the boot, like the Gen Zs, the millennials. You know us.
Yep.
Yep. So
Um,
what do you think of her
I'm a boomer.
design?
I love it. I haven't played her side quest though. I played her in the in this the other story quest, but I don't have her as a unit yet. Is there some kind of Chinese background to her
I don't
with
think.
the red?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, so these flowers right here, they are called red spider lilies, and they symbolize death, if you don't know. They're like basically
Oh,
an.
okay.
Yeah, if you watched a lot of anime, you know what these flowers symbolize. But like, I love her character design. Of course, she gives off a lot of Ningguang s vibes. I do like her design a lot. I do love the fact that she wears such big earrings, or was it? I don't think they're earrings. They're just like hair decorations. I do love it.
Mm.
And one of the reasons why I love Daisy and why I wanted to pull her character is because she carries a giant fan.
That's really good for the summer.
I know. She carries around a giant fan and she doesn't need like an she doesn't need an umbrella. She can just use her fan. And then she has her like dogs which is very aggressive, which are very aggressive and they're super powerful. And in terms of
Is that Cerberus?
I I don't think I think it's Cerberus, but it's a different name. I can't remember from the
Mm.
from Prize 5-star quest when we first met her. Like
Yep.
like when I first met Daisy through that 5-star quest of Pry, she's just like mind my own business, and then she gets super duper feisty when you ruin her mood. She's so cool.
Yeah. Such sass.
Mm-hmm. And I do love the designs on her arms. Like if you can see, I can zoom in.
We
Like if
zoom
you
in.
can see, like there's some
Oh
tattoos.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's some tattoos right here. It's very, very beautiful and very. And since she is from Purgatory, she does give off like some kind of symbolism to herself as like the leader of the Reapers. So like she is like the boss to Zeviro and to Ilulu, and she's very, very like very elegant, but also feisty and spicy at the same time, while also being super strong. Like the lower her speed is, the stronger she gets. She's very much like a tank for attacks. She's very slow, but she's very powerful.
I am I'm a huge fan of design because I know how sassy she is and I love how they represent that. So
Mm-hmm.
firstly, she you can tell she's a boss because she's sitting down on a giant beast,
Mm-hmm.
which symbolizes dominance, and
Mm-hmm.
she's looking down on you. So you're kind of looking up towards her and she's looking down towards you, kind of like, "Yep, I am queen. Listen
Mm-hmm.
to what I have to tell you." And she, as you said, she has that massive fan which seems like it represents like a princess of some sort because
Mm-hmm.
it would be cool if someone was fanning her as well. But she's sitting down on top of this really powerful beast, which just shows how strong she is. She's got that mysterious color of hair and those eyes. And as you said, would you happen to know what the tattoos mean?
I don't know what the tattoos actually mean, but they do mean something. Every time there's a game character or any type of game, you know there's going to be a lot of symbolism or like some foreshadowing here and
Yeah,
there. So
it's amazing. These artists are fantastic. They're
I
so
know.
talented.
Kudos to the artists of Another Eden for giving us these beautiful designs of
Yeah.
these characters. It's just amazing.
Very amazing. Even if we give them low rankings, it doesn't mean that they're bad, right? I
Mm-hmm.
can't do this, but yeah.
Yeah,
So these, they, I love her. I love her design.
same here.
Yeah.
So I would definitely put her at an S tier for both her power and her design because she's really powerful. Of course, she's one of the slowest units in the game, but the slower she gets, the stronger she becomes.
Oh wow, I really want to pull her.
Hmm.
I would give her an S as well.
And if you remember that video I shared, the summoning highlights from the final chapter of KMS Mythos, I was like super duper excited to pull on ES2Z, but instead I got Daisy, which is great. I needed
It's still
Daisy.
good.
Yeah, I've been trying to pull on Daisy, but instead of Daisy, the banner gave me a Dunarith because if you remember, Dunarith and Daisy were like a 50-50 chance on that joint banner that had the
Oh
featured
yeah.
unit. So I got Daisy, which is great. I'm super duper happy. I haven't completed her quest yet, but I do want to learn more about her story. So I would put her in an S tier for me. What do you think?
I agree. I'd put her an S as well. I love her design, and from the 5-star Pry quest, I can tell she's pretty sassy, and she's in another quest as well, right? It's another. I forgot what they called it. It was an episode of some sort.
It was, I think, an ensemble. I think
That's it. That's it. Yep.
it's ensemble. So we definitely learn more about her story in that ensemble episode. So we're gonna put her.
Oh, look who's coming next. This guy is this dude your husband? Is he your number one?
Yes, he's my number
Uh,
one. It's
I
Victor.
knew it.
It's
For,
Victor.
any, for anyone who watches my channel, I just pulled him the other day. So
Ooh,
yeah,
congrats.
thank you.
I remember pulling for AS Victor on that one stream. Like it's up on my second channel, the Crystal Archives, and if you watch that until the end, I got a single gold door, and it popped out AS Victor, and I'm like, yes, he's like
It's
my
like
husband.
wedding bells.
Yeah, I know. It's like the wedding bells are coming to me, and I'm so happy that I get to be with my husbando. Because if I looking at his character design right now, he definitely gives off a lot of one character that I know from Genshin Impact, and his name is Child, aka Tartaglia from Genshin Impact. He's one of the
Oh,
spoiler alerts. He's one of the enemies. Fatui Harbingers, if I would mention. So we can compare him to Child right now. So this is Tartaglia, aka Child, aka Ajax. Yes, he has too many names, but this is Child, aka Tartaglia, and I can see some resemblance in his like looks, like with the hair and all.
hmm.
He's very much like another Eden's Tartaglia, if you would say.
He also looks. Have you seen the poster art for Another X, the tentative title for the sequel to Another Eden?
Yes, I saw that on your video.
He looks really similar to him as well.
Mm-hmm. And it's like he's very much like, of course, people like I remember streaming on Twitch and be like, you're just in love with a guy who's cursed and he's older than you, and be like, and I'm like, I don't care as long as he's cute and all, and he's very powerful. I would still marry him.
As long as he doesn't electrocute you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he has wind, so that's a plus.
He'll
It's like,
blow you off your feet.
mhm.
Hey,
Hey, he's like He's like one of my favorites of all time. My top one husbando, and like based on his design alone, he's very very adventurous, very powerful, and I do like his overall design, and I like the fact he carries two blades around. Chef's kiss to that. What do you think?
Yeah, two blades. Like he can't even eat because he's holding two swords. That means he's all about killing, right?
Yeah, he's all about them.
And
He's all about them. Adventure lifestyle.
he's the best friend of Gramps, isn't he? But he
Hmm.
just he's done something to keep living and looking young.
Yeah. So,
Um, uh, as a
uh,
unit, he reminds me of Garyu, but less evil. But it's still like wild, a bit unhinged, really crazy and fun. Like I love his story and how he makes me laugh. His design is cool. He looks like a badass.
Yeah.
You can tell he means business. You can tell he's a great swordsman, and he is just electricity and wind. Like the you can see in terms of the illustration, there's electricity, there's wind, there's a dual swords. There's not much else. He's just like, bang, this is me. This is Victor AS.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slice you up and electrocute you.
Yes. He's like my absolute favorite. Although I don't use him a lot, he's just like sitting there and be like, "When are you going to use me?" I'm like, "Slow down, my love. I'm going to use you very soon." Until I get that Thunder Zone from Orlea or ESMU.
You used him during the. I watched that because I needed help for the seven, those bosses. You used him to beat boss number three, I think.
Ooh. Uh, I I don't think so. I can't remember.
Oh, really?
I haven't beat the. You mean the KMS bosses?
The five bosses you need to beat to get the 5-star seven, and there's one boss where it's like, you fight a fire and water elemental boss at the same time,
Oh,
like two of
that.
them.
I don't
And I
think
think you used Victor. Oh, you
I
didn't?
I don't think I can't remember. It's like it was a while back, but hey, at least he's
I only
very
remember because I was taking notes.
true. Oh, really? You were taking notes.
It's such a hard boss for me. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, tier list. Back to the tier list. Where do we want to put? Of course, I don't want to be too biased here, just because he's my number one husbando. Like he's super
I,
duper powerful too. He's very funny. He's very like adventurous. I would definitely put him at an S tier for me. What do you think?
okay, I'll give him an S as well.
Okay, so we're just gonna put him at an S. I'm so sorry. You have to be in an S tier. But hey, you get to be next to
Oh,
Aldo. You get to be next to Aldo.
that means if he's number one, why is Dewey Alter number S plus?
Cause like we had
He's
different
better looking.
opinions. Like I mean, he's very powerful. He's like one of the newer units.
That's true.
All right. Next up, we have Kikyo, but her another style. Another
Very funky.
style. Yes, very cyberpunk vibes. I do like her
Hmm.
ride. It's very cool. I would definitely ride with her until through the sunset, just so we can beat some bad guys.
Definitely, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. And and like you said, the graffiti on in the background is very futuristic and also funky too. A very cyberpunk vibes to it.
Very cyberpunk vibes. Very urban, futuristic. She's a cool chick. She rides a sweet ass motorbike.
Mm-hmm.
She means business.
And
Um,
she means business and business only.
and her get up has changed from black to white.
Mm-hmm. It definitely does have a bit of a semblance to it. So, what do you
Do you?
say? Okay, continue.
Sorry, sorry. Go ahead.
Uh, so I would say she does have a sweet ride with a cool outfit, and she is biker cyberpunk. She would definitely be a
Yeah.
character from Cyberpunk 2077 if I would be saying that.
Yeah, for sure. And do you know the story behind her another style at all?
I played her character quests, and yeah, I do know. It's basically a character quest within a character quest, because you get to meet A.S. Hardy in that same character quest as A.S. Kikyo, and A.S. Kikyo can beat A.S. Hardy in her character quest. So it's a character quest
Whoa,
in a character quest.
that's cool.
It's very cool. So where do we want to put her? Of course, she's very powerful with like Pale Rider. She's like one of the top tier win slash units so far.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, she's super duper powerful.
I, in terms of illustration, I think they could have done better. Like as I said, I like the NS Kikyo design better.
Mm-hmm.
And as I mentioned before, it'd been cool if she incorporates some kind of beast influence in the illustration, or maybe her personality is, she's just her own thing. Like she loves the beasts, though she hasn't share any motives.
Yeah.
of theirs. But it'd been cool if she incorporated some kind of beast thing because she grew up with him. She loves him so much. She's part of
Mm-hmm.
the whole community. It'd been cool if they had that. And it's a cool urban look. I think they could have made it look more intimidating, like with Daisy. But though I don't really know her personality enough.
Mm-hmm. So where do you want to put her?
I would say she's a sorry C.
Ooh, I would put her at an S. So we could balance it out and put it at an A. She's very powerful.
Okay.
So she's both of the Kikyos next to each other. NS Kikyo and AS Kikyo.
I'm gonna try and pull a Kikyo then.
She's super duper powerful, promise you. She has this move called Wheel Charge, and once you attack the enemies with Pale Rider, it's an AoE attack. She does like 6 times damage XL on all enemies. It's super duper powerful.
Damn.
Yeah, and she has like a 0 MP move called Overdrive, and once you activate that, and with Pale Rider and Wheel Charge, she's super duper powerful. She can one shot enemies at the same time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and pull her then.
All right. Good luck. And the next unit is yours truly, Melody.
Hey, it's you.
It's me. Well, technically not me because different outfits, but same name.
That is a cute little cow friend she has.
I know, it's a cute little sprite character. It's so cute, and I love her all overall design. It's really cute.
Hmm.
And if you remember, I posted a art piece for one of the contests in that third anniversary special for Another Eden. I drew
Hmm.
my character with Melody. It's Melody Crystal and Melody from Another Eden. It's two parallels. It's so cool.
You don't happen to have it with you now, do you? So we can see it?
I don't think it's on my laptop right now, but there will be a
Okay.
picture right here on screen, in
Nice.
post. But still,
Nice.
what do you think of her design of Melody?
I know nothing. Tell me if I'm accurate with this. So I know nothing about Melody. I haven't played as her. I've never encountered her. But is her personality like she's young, obviously. Is she very playful, very colorful, very bubbly? Princessy in a way?
Yeah, you could say that. She's part of the Elzion Med Hospital. So she's basically like a little nurse, because if you can see it in her outfit. And if you remember from KMS Mythos, she joins up with Palm, if you remember.
No. Oh my gosh.
She
Why
joins
don't I
up
remember that?
she joins up with Palm and Rufus together in that final scene battling against against those synth humans and and like robots in the final chapter. I'll be like,
I,
oh, okay, but why is Prom there? It's just like she's like in the it's just like a love triangle between Melody and Rufus.
because Pom's a nurse.
A love nurse. She's like, obviously
That sounds dodgy. See, she actually called a love nurse?
not. I mean, to be fair, people like you know how much we all hate like how many times we get Sawyer or Palm. It's like a
Yeah.
curse. It's a definite curse for all of us in the Another Aided community. But like Melody though, Melody is very, very cute. She gives off Hatsune Miku vibes from Vocaloid if you see it.
No, I don't know Vocaloid.
Oh, and you're missing out.
But I like the whole kawaii nature of it. Like it looks like little candies, little bears,
Mm-hmm.
very princessy, very very cute stuff. I like. I think it does the job
Mm-hmm.
for portraying her. I don't know plays her, but if she's a very cutesy type of character, then they've done the job right.
Yeah, she's very cute, and I do love her overall design. At first, I wanted to try and put my own avatar into this kind of outfit, but if you've seen the picture that I drew with my PNG avatar that I drew for Another Eden thumbnails, you see that outfit and compare her to Melody's outfit. They kind of look similar in a way, maybe.
Okay.
Like it's I kind of get inspiration from Melody's design with like the outfit and all, but with
Hey.
my own style, of course.
Yep. Yep.
So, what do you say we should put Melody on? What level?
I I like her illustration. I wish I knew more about her personality, and I wish I remembered seeing her in Mythos. Um, oh, I'd say without knowing anything about her, but still liking her illustration, I'd give her an A, maybe even
Mm.
higher.
Ooh, I would definitely give her an A too. Because I don't know, again, I
Yep.
don't, like you, I don't know much about her character yet. But seeing a bunch of videos from other people playing with Melody, she definitely seems like a fun little character who just seems to care for a lot of people in her, like, around the LZ Med hospital. She really does, like, care for other people's health and all that, and she wants to cheer them up.
It'd be cool if she has. So she likes Rufus, does she?
Maybe? I don't know. But they were together during that battle against the synth humans from the
Hmm.
Twilight
When they
time
attack
layer.
the school, it'd be cool if she has a thing also with Dewey. They seem like a good match.
Mm-hmm. They do. They do like it. They do seem like a good match. All right. So that's Melody in A tier. Next up, we have Lele.
Man, I pulled Lele maybe a zillion times.
And of course, she has an upcoming 5 star, another style in the near future. And like
Crystal Zone setter, right?
hmm?
No, no, she's not.
She's
She's
not
no,
a
she's
zone.
a. Oh, she's not a zone setter. I was wrong.
I'm completely forgot, but like, have you seen her design in that video, in that live stream over on Another Eden JP? It's so pretty.
Yeah, it's cool. She's got that whole white get up going.
She's like the opposite of Radika.
Oh yeah, true. She's like a white mage.
Yeah, she's like a white witch, and Radika is like a dark witch, if you would say.
Mm.
She's like, since she is a dark elf, hey!
Yay!
And like, I remember choosing Lele for the first time when I started out in the early days of Another Eden. I remember choosing Lele because I think she is a really fun little character, and she's so cute, and I love her overall design and I do think I remember the way she sounds like Lele na na. It's like something like that. In that sense, I do like her
I
character
think we
design.
need to do a sound clip of you doing that little noise. La, 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 la.
Lele, Lele. Maybe we could do like maybe in the near future we could do like a voice acting tier list. Maybe.
A voice acting tier list.
I mean, it could
Uh,
work, but like
yeah,
how I mean, we don't know much. Like some characters voice the same are voiced by the same people, of course. But like
there's one
maybe.
oh there's one female one I swear is voiced by a dude. I
Yeah.
forgot who it was. I was like, hey, this
Oh.
sounds like a guy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at
So,
my Lily now. Yeah, I have 55 light points
oof.
for.
That's a lot for Lele.
I've pulled her so often.
So I do like her witchy like design. It's so cute. And what do you say we put her on? I would put her at a B tier. Until her another style form comes out, I will put her at a B tier.
I'd have to agree. I like her illustration, and it tells me her personality right away. She's kind of like this. She's a young startup witch who's kind of messy around all over the place, but
hmm
she's going places. She has a little cat though, doesn't she? It's been good to see that in her illustration.
Yeah, I think she does. I think she is a cat lover. So I think she does have a little cat companion.
Mm. Yeah,
So,
so I'm happy with a B.
all right. So we put Lele at a B tier. Next up is another 4 star. Her name is Parisa, the Bard, the Minstrel, the Cursed. I do like Parisa's
That's right.
design.
She is cursed, isn't she?
Yeah, I do like her design. She is very beautiful. And she is also voiced by Sayori Hayami, who is the same voice as Marielle. So she does give off a certain, like, she's a bit down with herself. She's a bit shy in front of other people. But then when she sings, she goes, like, full on confidence until she realizes that her curse can put people to sleep. I think, from what I can recall from her character quest, she puts people to sleep with her curse when she sings. Since she is, like, a bard, and she is a singer, since she is a minstrel, she does have that kind of power for people. And of course, she is a little bit sad that she has that kind of curse. And she's like, she wants to sing, but then she has this curse of putting people to sleep. So, overall design, she is very fitting for a bard. And I do like the color combinations of green and pink together. So, that's my overall thoughts. What do you think?
So yeah, Parisia actually, when I was starting the game, she was one of my favorite units. I use her a lot, so it's a shame they've kind of neglected her. Current, like in today's
Mm-hmm.
game, they made. I bet you they'll probably come back to her at some point. I loved her story, and yeah, once again, her illustration represents how they used to do it. So it's much simpler back then,
Mm-hmm.
much more conservative, less thighs. Yeah, like she's pretty cool looking,
Yeah.
pretty unique. I remember her being pretty captivating, though I don't really remember it. Um,
Yeah. I
yeah,
I don't remember
yeah, she's
much
okay.
about it. I don't remember much, but at least she's very, very pretty. She's a very unique
Yeah,
character. So what do you say we should put her at?
I would say she is a B.
Okay, B tier. I would also agree with you too, since she is a very unique character. And again, like you said, another Edith's character designs with their splash arts and everything are very much simpler, not too revealing, but still representing who they are. So Harissa is getting a B tier, right next to her fellow friend Lele, who is also a fellow 5 star as well, but who's also getting another style soon. So that's exciting. Next up, we're almost done. We only have like a few more characters left. Next up, we have Mistrair, another style, who I recently got from a stream.
And she is topping the charts at the moment, right? On the tier list.
Yeah, she is. She's definitely topping the tier list. Like, she's topping all the charts in, like, the Ultima JP rankings.
Wow, I don't have her. Do you?
I have her. If you
Oh,
watch
I'm
my
jealous.
if you watch part 1 of my gameplay of the 3000 Realm Mark and the Sea Abyss, I was trying to get AS Milsha, but instead they gave me the other singer who is Mistrair, and I'm super duper happy about it.
That is so good.
I know, it was from a single pull, and I was like, I was just praising. I had a ring of salt, just like the
Oh,
one.
you were doing Scott's tips?
Yeah,
Yeah, the ring of salt.
I was doing the ritual.
Oh man, you should have
It
filmed that. Like, hey Scott, check this out. It works.
It works. I should have filmed it, but I was streaming, so I was only screen recording that time.
Oh.
I should have recorded it,
uh,
but I did put a ring of salt, and it worked. It worked.
all right, everyone. If you're watching or listening right now, put a ring of salt around your game device, and you'll definitely get AS Mistral.
Yeah, of course. Yes. So, since we're upgrading from normal style Mistrair to AS Mistrair, what do you think of her current design so far? I think her boots, I think her shoes improved from shoes to boots, and it's still platform, so that's a given. What do you think?
Yep, they look custom designed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like this gives her a more confident look than like her body posture looks more confident.
Mm-hmm.
She's still got the thigh thing going on. She's got the majestic wings, some birds
Yes.
flying around her. I
I
like this more. It's more energetic, more alive than her normal style design.
Mm-hmm. I do like that. I do like the detail that she's carrying, like this crystal shard in her hand. It's very, very much beautiful. And I love her hair is very, like, since her normal style, she was just wearing, like, a small braid. Now she's, like, wearing this long braid on her and this earring right here.
Mm.
It's very much beautiful in a sense that she's feeling more confident in herself and being more elegant to other people, considering the fact that her normal style was a little bit too revealing, but in this another style, it's like less revealing, but still is revealing. She has like this longer skirt, but still like a bit translucent, but she is still showing
Mm.
off how powerful she is just from this look alone.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, and I love the color scheme they used, the
Mm-hmm.
sparkles, the crystal he said in her hand. It'd been cool to somehow incorporate her identity. Like she writes history, right?
Mm-hmm. She's
It'd been
a history writer, I think.
it'd
Yes.
been interesting if they could have incorporated that somehow. Maybe it would have been too difficult, but I like it overall.
Mm-hmm. I do too. So where do you want to put her at?
I'd give her simply because she's super powerful, and I know a bunch about her. I'm going to lean towards an S.
Ooh, I'm also going for an S tier, so that's it. S tier for A is Mister, right next to Daisy. So
Hello.
next one is the OG powerful
Tilel,
Thalili. Thalili.
Tilele.
Thalil.
Tilele.
We can't even say her
Thalil.
name properly.
Thalil.
Thalil.
I'll just say Tilly.
I'm just,
Thalil?
her nickname is Tilly, so it's easier. So yeah, I do like this
Yep.
design. She is very regal. That's one of the words I want to say instead of elegant. Regal.
Elegant.
So
Very
she's
regal indeed.
yeah, she is wearing a beautiful red dress with some black tights and beautiful shoes. I do like her overall design. She is very powerful in this sense, but with like this dark portion of her like slashed art. And of course, it can't be Lily without the one and only Moke. Right there
Hell
on her
yeah. Where's Moke?
right
Oh,
here.
there he is.
There is on
Sorry,
it
is
on
it Moke a he?
I don't know. I think they're like genderless characters. Maybe
Mm,
I don't
okay.
know. Since Moke doesn't have like a certain gender, Moke is like like a neutral name in a sense. But I just like to I like to refer Moke as a he/him pronoun pronunciation.
All right.
So what about you? What about
Um,
her design?
I like you. I think it's regal, and it's the original, the OG design. It's awesome. I like it. You can see that she is powerful when you
Mm-hmm.
look at this, and she is fire and dark. Which you see, she's got the swords and like the dark magic, just holding onto the sword. She doesn't even need to use her hands. That's how powerful she is.
Yeah, she's
Her
just
magic is holding the
controlling.
swords for her.
Yeah, she's controlling the
And
magic through her own hands. She's holding them up by her own magic.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
She looks when I see this without knowing her personality, she looks super powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and young, and she's meant to be young in the game. But and her in-game sprite, like when you're battling, I love her sword slashing animation.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
She's just like
Um,
she's just like it's like throws her hands out to the sides and just like whips the sword down.
exactly, and it looks they do that really cool animation where
Mm.
in that sound effect where it just slashes.
Yeah.
Uh, though with Suzette, if you look at Suzette's design, you can tell she's playful. Tilly's personality is very like she's like she's super powerful, but at the same time she's a klutz. It'd been
Mm-hmm.
interesting if they played with a design where she looks kind of goofy, but you can tell she's strong.
Mm-hmm.
Though overall, that's just me being picky. I think this design looks cool, and she looks powerful in it.
Yeah, same here. She does look very powerful in this like form. And comparing her to her AS form, she's like like a little bit more mature, but and she's also somewhat in control of her own powers. This one in her NS form, she's like losing a little bit control, but she does have moderately
Mm,
able to control her powers. It seems to be like overfilling. Like I can't hold this. I'm just going to do my best and everything because she is the self-proclaimed reincarnation of the sword wielding savior. So she's just trying
yeah,
her best to please everyone in the church, to save everybody.
she's the best. I love
Mm-hmm.
her.
And of course, it's Moke, the best star, the best one
Yes,
in the game.
I like Moke. Yep, I agree.
Mm-hmm. So where do
None
we
of
want to
that
put
pip
her?
business.
No, Wow. I like
I'm really
Pip.
biased against Pip, but Pip, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. Anyway, he just, I don't know. They
Pip,
spoil him too much.
I mean, true, but Pip is an adorable character. And, like,
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah. So, where do we want to put Thalili at?
I'm going to vote S for Thilly.
Ooh, S. I'm going to say S too. She's very powerful too. So, it's kind of so we put her AS form in A and we put her NS form in S tier
Mm,
because obviously this is way too cool to see than her AS form where she's way too much in control of her own powers.
hell yeah.
Yeah, so
And I
this
think
is
the AS illustration looks a bit too similar.
mm-hmm. Real and she's just holding the swords. It'd be cool that she's not holding the swords and just using her powers instead.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Next up, we have Seven. Seven, 5 star.
So what do you think is 7?
Seven is an okay dude. A little bit emo. A little bit emo. But, like, he's cool. He cool. I see you. He's powerful. He's really, really cool. Like, the way he controls the wind around his splash art is so elegant. And, like, how could you not love this guy with his long hair?
He has the shaman long hair, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
that is.
does. And I do like his overall design. It's very, like, you know, imagine seeing this guy in real life and he's just wearing a jacket, no shirt underneath. Just like, yeah, this is me.
And with goggles on his
Yeah.
head.
Yes, with the goggles and the beanie and the long hair and everything. It's just
That's a
cool.
hippie. He
That's,
looks like a hippie conspiracy theorist.
he's a hippie conspiracy theorist shaman.
Yeah, he looks like a dude who doesn't like the government. Like if you ask him
Yeah,
about his opinions about the government, he would go on long rants about how bad it is.
he's just the opposite of the government. He's a rebel.
Yeah, I love his personality.
Hmm.
He's just he's very direct and upfront, and he's a little bit rude, but Aldo's very patient with him.
Hmm. I do see him too. I do see that Aldo and Seven have this kind of chemistry where Aldo is very patient and while Seven is very very what do you say, like,
Opinionated, very
opinionated,
strong
very
personality.
very directive, very very strong, and Aldo's
Mm,
just there just patiently waiting for his next response or like what his decision might be if he has a second opinion. And I do like his overall
yep.
design. It's really really pretty. So what do you say we should put him at?
So he's the second last one. Okay, so I would say, oh,
He's really powerful.
I was shocked. Anyway, what do I say about him? He's a very powerful unit. I'm using him at the moment. I love I think his spell Monsoon, where
Mm-hmm.
it restores mana to the team. Um, it would have been good to rep to. I don't know. There's something to me is that's missing. It seems more like an old school design
Mm-hmm.
than a modern one. What do you think?
I could definitely see that. His design is very much his like his character sprite in the base and like his 4 star splash art is just very 4 star esque. But when you look at him through his 5 star splash art, it's still very much like uh, a 4 star esque base, but it's also
Yeah.
still trying to represent himself as a 5 star class in the game.
Oh, what I was meant to say is they. I wish they'd incorporate the elemental being that he absorbed into himself
Oh, the
when he
wind spirit.
unleashes.
The wind
Yeah,
spirit.
the wind spirit. That's right. That'd been good to include in his illustration.
Hmm. So, what do you say we put him at? I would say, for me, I would say he is a solid S tier because he's powerful and I do like his simplicity is the best kind of design for me.
Okay. Well, I like. Yes, it is nice and simple. I don't get his personality purely. I love his long hair, his shaman, his goggles, but I don't get his attitude and personality from that illustration. There could have been something else that they could have added to represent that. I would have given him an A because he's powerful, but happy to put him in S.
Hmm. Okay, so we're in the middle, so that would be we could put him in an S tier. I would love that. He's right next
It's a
to
solid number of S's.
yeah. We have a lot of A's and a lot of S's. One C, four B, and two S plus. And last,
Lucky last.
yes, the last one, but definitely not the least. Alter Isuka.
Hello.
Hello, mistress of power and domination. She definitely looks like one. Her personality is power to rule. It makes sense. She loves
She is
power.
badass.
She is powerful. She is a dominator. And look at those boots. She has those heels. Girl, she can fight back.
She can kill thousands of people with those heels. That means you're good.
Correction, 1,549 people.
Exactly. That's a
Exactly.
lot of people she's murdered.
I know.
She is a mass murderer.
I know. And for one person only.
Yeah.
I mean, she does carry
Yeah.
around a bunch of knives and daggers and swords.
You'd think her shoes would be more practical, like silent, so he doesn't draw attention. But I guess that's just showing off how good she is. Like, imagine if I wasn't wearing heels.
Imagine. Maybe it would make sense, but like the way that she wears her heels, she makes it more like, like a little bit sexy in a sense.
Oh yeah, trying that Felmina vibe
Mm-hmm. She
where
definitely gives up
she's
that.
got
She definitely gives up
yeah.
Felmina vibes here. I do like her overall design. It's very black clad, obviously. She's very sporty looking. I do love the mismatched colors of her stockings, which is white and a bluish
Blue.
purple. It's really cool. I do
Mm.
like a little bit of mismatched colors from time to time. It fits well. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I love the incorporation of the wheel, which is part of the logo, right,
Mm-hmm.
of KMS Mythos, and how they contrasted her to the normal style Isuka, who wears pure white because
Mm-hmm.
she's a figure of goodness. She's a leader. This one is like she's in black. She has a darkness to her. She's a killer, obviously, but the white stockings maybe represent the good side, good nature of her that still remains. And then I love the floating daggers because she's an assassin,
Mm-hmm.
and the color scheme is great. I agree with you. The black and purple are great.
Yeah. Black and purple is like one of the best color combinations out there. Like if you studied proper color theory, I would say black and purple are the best colors next to like green and pink. It's very much an aesthetic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Well, there is pink there.
there is. And if you've seen my avatars, like you've seen my edits, my usual go-to colors are like blue, purple, pink, and a little bit of white. And so I kind of feel connected and related to Alter or Isuka, and it just makes a perfect combination of so many colors that I like, with a little bit of pink, purple, and black at the same time.
Well, that's very interesting. So right now, Melody's giving us an art lesson, fellas. That's good value, right? You better like and subscribe just for that alone.
Thank you. Anyways, back to where we were in the tier list. This is our last character. Where do you want it? What do
Mm.
you say? Where should we put her at?
Because she's last, and because I have a heart for her character in the Mythos series. I love her arc, and I love everything she goes through, and her sassy attitude. That's gonna give me some extra bias, so I'm gonna give her an S plus.
You know what? I am all with you because Alter Isuka was one of the units I was super duper excited for when I saw her over on Another Eden JP. She is such a powerful character. She can not only attack with an AoE Earth type attack, but she can also heal you, which is a great asset to like, especially if you're surviving countless of multiple attacks on your like units and such. So S plus tier for me, and this is the complete package. This is the entire tier list of Another Eden's best character designs. What do you
It's
think?
funny how our S pluses are mass murderers. Like the people we voted have the best designs. They killed heaps of people. They're like bad people.
I mean, Suzette's not bad, right?
Yeah, she's not bad. I mean, she's good, but she was made to do bad things when she was a kid.
Oh, true. She was from the
Yeah.
Lost Lab. But, like, hey, what do you think of this tier list?
I love it. What do you think, Mel?
I think it's a great tier list too. And I can definitely agree with you on some points here and there, like with some of your details. Of course, you're more analytical than I am, and it definitely makes a great combination because I am more into like so many character designs and powers, and for you, it's like more on the story, analytical side, and it definitely. It's a contrast between the two of us, but it also makes a great combination of two fellow content creators enjoying the same game and finding out how much we like Another Eden as a game and as like different characters that we all love in this
Mm.
entire series, which is great.
And we didn't agree on everyone, but we did agree on the S pluses, which is interesting.
I agree. And like, not to be fair, you were joining up with my bias with Ultra Dewey.
I would love to know also what anyone who's watching thinks. Who are your top 10, or who are your favorite designed units? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? We'd love to know your thoughts.
hmm So let us know down in the comments section down below, and let us know who your favorite characters could be on this list. Let us know. And this is
Uh,
where we're going to be ending this long video. And yeah,
um,
any last few words about for you? Any last words
well,
about our tier
first,
list?
firstly, a huge thank you, Melody, for bringing me on the show, for agreeing to, for finally listening to my spam messages, inviting you for a collab. So thank you so much. And I had a lot of fun. I love talking about Another Eden with people, and this was so much fun. And I can't wait to collaborate in the future with you.
Yeah, same here. And then thank you for giving me this opportunity to collab with another Eden content creator. I've been really, really excited and planning a collaboration with one of many Another Eden content creators on the platform, but I just couldn't find the right person to do it. And luckily for you, David, you were the right person that I would do a collaboration for my very first collaboration. And it's an opportunity and such an honor to hang out with the one and only Another Eden Adventures.
And with the one and only Melody Crystal, really appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone else for tuning in. We hope to entertain you with more content soon.
Yeah, same. And this is where we're gonna be officially ending this tier listing video, guys. I know it took a lot longer than we realized. I'm just checking right now. This is all going to be uncut, by the way, so you guys can hear all of our opinions. But let me tell you, this is 2 hours of footage, and I hope you don't mind it. But of course, I do upload 2 hours of footage on the channel, so I hope you guys don't mind it. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, let me know again. Let me know down in the comments below of what your guys' characters would be on a tier list for best character designs. And again, thank you to Another Eden Adventures for joining me in this first ever collaboration with fellow Another Eden content creators. Go check him out. Go show him some love and support. And if you guys would like to see more, let me know in the comments below of what other things or collaborations we should do in the near future. And again, give it a like if you can and subscribe. And as for now, I'm headed out to my mission, or should I say, we're heading out to our mission. Signing off!